As a homeowner, investor, and realtor, Tamara Taylor knows firsthand how difficult and emotional buying a new property or selling a property can be. For most people, it's one of the biggest, largest financial decisions of their lives. Her goal as a broker is to educate and empower each of her clients so they can make informed decisions for their families. Well, today here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, we're going to talk about how to stop renting and take advantage of home ownership. Don't you move. We're going to be right back after this quick intro here on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Why y'all so happy?
You don't know? Sharvette Mitchell is on the radio.
It's time to get motivated, excited, and influenced. Why? It's the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, live from Richmond, Virginia. And now, here to motivate, excite, and influence you, Sharvette Mitchell.
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show, broadcasting live from the capital city of Richmond, Virginia, but heard and seen literally all across the world wide web. I'm your wonderful host, Sharvette Mitchell, marketing strategist, and I am super excited for you to join me in this outlet here. Those of you that are listening live from all across Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, we appreciate you. And then certainly our podcast listeners, Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, Blog Talk Radio. We can't leave you out. And those that may be hanging out at Sharvette.com. Thank you so much for joining us and being here today for an amazing topic, how to stop renting and take advantage of home ownership. So I know there are probably some people on your timelines and some groups that you're in that need this information. Go ahead and I invite you to share this out right now. We're welcoming and greeting those of you that are already coming on in. Hello to my sister Kim over on YouTube, holding it down. Hello, Lorraine. Thank you so much for checking in and being here with us. Welcome. We got Hey Girl Hey happening over in my Facebook group. Thank you for being here as well. This segment is brought to you by, speaking of my Facebook group, my personal Facebook group that I invite you into if you are a female entrepreneur. And on Facebook, it's really simple. You can just jump over to the website link, heygirlhey.today. So www.heygirlhey.today, not .com, not .org, .today, because we want you to join us today and just network and have a great connections with the ladies that are going in the same direction that you're going in. So shout out to all those that are listening over there. Hello, Miracle. Thank you so much for popping on in. We're glad to see you. Hello, Gwen. Thank you for being here as well. So let me do a little bit more of an introduction of our guest who's hanging out in the virtual studio, just ready to come up and drop some nuggets and share some wisdom today. If you're hanging out at Sharvette.com, her full bio is right there, but let me just give you a little bit of a snippet so that you can get ready to welcome our guest. Tamara Taylor, she is the owner of Community Real Estate Group, and she is extremely passionate. She's a passionate professional who puts her full efforts into everything she does. Her success in real estate can be attributed to her superior industry knowledge and first-class customer service. Tamara is a proud, I'm going to say Richmonder. So we're excited because we interview people from all over, but she's here in Richmond, Virginia. And she specializes in helping first-time homeowners, young professionals, growing families, and investors to buy and sell property. Without further ado, coming up to the mic live on the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Hello, Tamara Taylor. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be here tonight. So thank you.
Listen, I know our listeners are excited. We're getting hays and high fives all over.
Hey girl, hey. Hey everybody.
Hey girl, hey. So let's jump right in. Certainly, you know, the housing market and the real estate market has been a buzz, I think, across the news. So can you give us, you know, kind of the short kind of form of what it's looking like? What is the industry looking like?
Yes, I will give you a short little snippet. You kind of touched on it when you said an emotional process because it is. It is. It is very emotional. It has its ups and downs, but the market right now, it is still a little bit of a tough market because it is still competitive. You still have properties that are selling very quickly. Now, during this time of the year, with the holidays approaching, things tend to slow down just a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's still an aggressively pushing market right now.
Wow. And so so lots of things to keep our eyes on.
Yes,
And
yes.
so how did you actually get into real estate? Like what brought you here?
It's funny. I come from a line of realtors. So I have family members. My father was a realtor, aunts, uncles, cousins that embarked upon it. But the thing that really got me to stay was my best friend, who was a loan officer at the time. She was complaining because she could not find anybody who was passionate, find
Mhm.
anybody that really cared about the people and really taking the time to educate and work with them and walk them through this process. So at the time, I was looking for a career change and decided to take the plunge. And 17 years later, I'm still here.
All right. So like you just didn't jump, listener, she just didn't jump in this game. She just didn't
Right.
jump in this since
Correct.
COVID. So you have some
Yes, this is
experience.
seasoned agent over here.
Yeah, all right. I love that. And so, since our topic specifically tonight is, how to stop renting and
Yes,
take advantage of home ownerships. Now, we recognize, and those that are viewers and listeners, we recognize that people are renting for a lot of different reasons. So, this is
correct.
not a bash renters type of show.
Right.
So, we are just giving, some options and some
Exactly.
things for people to think about. And so, for those that are renting, and when we say rental, now, people are renting apartments, they're renting
Mhm.
townhouses, they're renting, all kinds of things. What are some of the initial things that you would say to someone who is a renter, but now thinking about home ownership as a route that they want to take?
So a lot of people kind of sometimes are scared to take that plunge because they're thinking, can I really qualify? Because sometimes credit can be an issue or finances can be an issue. And I always tell people it's time, take that plunge. One of the great things with home ownership is it is building equity. So it's creating generational wealth. You don't have to worry about the rental price increases at those yearly renewals that everybody goes through. I've been a renter too at times, so I do understand. So you have that stability with home ownership. The wonderful thing is talk to somebody and just be willing to go ahead and take that plunge. Again, don't focus on whether I have the credit or the finances because there are programs out there that can help you with down payment. There are programs that can help you with your closing cost. And there's even programs that can assist you with getting your credit on track and on target.
All right. So listen, that's the Cliff Notes version. We gonna dig a little bit deeper.
Yes.
And so so let's talk about the elephant in the room for
Mhm.
some people, which helps them shy away from it, is around
Mhm.
credit
Yes.
requirement and what
Yes.
things they need to do.
So mainly with the credit, the sweet spot for most lenders is at least a 620. Now, a 640 is going to get you a little bit better rate and some different opportunities, but a 620 is your bare minimum. That's the sweet spot that most people are looking for. Now, FHA is going to be the best way to go because with an FHA product, you're looking at only 3.5% down that you would have to come out of pocket with. And again, there are some down payment assistance programs that can help. So those that, feel like they don't have the finances. Now, with credit,
Yeah.
again, that sweet spot is 620, but I do have someone that is able, for instance, if you are maybe have been a little bit behind trying to work on a few things, there are some programs that can really help you. Also, a lot of people don't realize that if you're in a bankruptcy, like if you're in a chapter 13, that you still
Mhm.
can purchase. And a lot of people aren't aware of that because they feel like, oh my goodness, I'm in a bankruptcy. However, you can get permission from the bankruptcy court and still be able to qualify. So those again that feel like, well, I have these issues going on. No, let's talk through them because there's always a solution that we can work around.
Ah, nuggets being dropped already. Tamara Taylor, community real estate, real estate group. How can
Yes.
people follow you online?
So they can follow me at CRG Richmond on everything. That's for Twitter, for Facebook, everything. It's at CRG Richmond.
All right. And so can you, if someone's listening, because we have people from all over listening, so
Yes,
certainly the nuggets and the guidance you're giving, anyone can take and take
yes.
and suck that in. But if they're like, I want to work with her, what's your scope, your region that you can work with people?
So I focus on the city of Richmond and surrounding counties. So I could do Chesterfield, Henrico, Petersburg, all the way out to Dinwiddie. And then I could do Prince George as well, and then going towards that Henrico area, King William, Hanover. Typically, Hanover and that New Kent area is kind of my line of cutoff. That's
Okay.
just because that's my area of expertise. And then anything beyond that, I would love to be able to partner with another realtor to be able to work with them and share some business.
All right. So one of the first places is the credit piece, it sounds like. So
Yes. So the
definitely,
first thing is,
yeah,
and you want to speak with your realtor. So you want to do a consultation. That's why I'm really big on education, because a lot
yeah.
of people just don't know where to start. And so I have a team of experts that I can literally walk them through a seamless transaction from beginning to end. So we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about what are your home ownership goals? What are you looking for? What's going to be realistic and feasible to make sure that you're not what they call house poor or house
Uh-huh.
broke, but you still have where you can live a comfortable life, because a lot of people are paying these rental prices are 12, 13, $1,400. And I have people getting mortgages for 1,100 and less, or at least maybe at that 1,200 price point, what you're paying in rent, that you can now own a home for that same amount and get all of the benefits that come with home ownership.
Okay, so I know some of you that probably piqued your interest right there. So I mean, if you're paying the same, roughly the same thing, that clearly
Mhm.
is one of the benefits. Now, let me just
Exactly.
tag on to that first comment around the
Yes.
credit piece.
Mhm.
As your team works with people, if someone has a credit issue,
Mhm.
how long do you usually see that it'll take for them to kind of get things cleared up so that they can go to home ownership?
So I like to say it's not a one size fits all. Now there's a lot of programs out there that just tell you, oh, well, we could scrub your credit or we'll get rid of this and get rid of that.
Mhm.
It is this particular program and who I work with is not a one size fits all. So they're going to actually assess where they're at and how they got there, because nobody just woke up and say, I'm not going to pay a bill. Most
Yeah.
people have gone into some type of financial hardship. So
Mhm.
how do we overcome that hardship? What is presenting a challenge currently? Are we through those hardships, and what things do we need to implement to begin to change the perception and the scope on how we conduct our finances and how we do things moving forward? Because some things it's just people don't know. So it's a lack
Right.
of knowledge. So it's now educating them so they can make better decisions financially.
Wonderful. All right. So, benefits of home ownership. You've
Yes.
already mentioned you may end up paying the same or less.
Or less. You do not have rental increases. Your mortgage stays the same. You're building up equity, which is the amazing thing. I ran into a client not that long ago who already has only been in her home in a short period of time, probably maybe a few years. But
Uh-huh.
because the market has increased in the housing market and housing prices are steadily climbing up, she already has $100,000 worth of equity in her home with all the repairs and upgrades that she's done. So
Yeah.
her goal is, hey, let me take some of this. Now I want to get into some investment. So her and I are going to be talking about how to actually use some of that equity, pull some cash out, and now get into some investment opportunities. So it's a great way to also leave a legacy, because most of us have children or grandchildren. So now we have some things that we could pass on to our children.
Wow. And I mean, you're naming a lot of benefits here. Thank you so much, Sharice, who said that's what I am interested in learning about home ownership, the benefits.
Yes,
And so sometimes people are scared. I deal with the credit piece because I know it's a piece that some people are
yes,
scared of. So I wanna shift that mindset. Now we're dealing with,
right.
okay, that you get there's help, there's support,
There is, yes,
there are benefits.
exactly. There is help, and people sometimes are embarrassed
Yeah.
because they've gone through different issues and different things in their life, and sometimes they're just embarrassed and don't want to open up. Look, this is a judgment-free zone, so there
Yeah.
is no judgment. I have gone through a lot of different things as well, so that's what I use is that education and that compassion to really be able to help my clients to achieve and go to their next level.
All right. And so putting money down,
Mhm.
if someone is renting and you were talking about, again, those that are just joining us, we're talking about how to stop renting and take advantage of home ownership. And so the down payment or what they need
Mhm.
to, move in, you mentioned 3%. So, talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, so doing an FHA, their requirement is 3.5%, but there are some down payment programs out there. The biggest one that a lot of people are using, and I'm referring my clients to, for those that are in the Richmond market, and for those, I know that your show is global, so for those that are listening all over, you definitely want to connect with a realtor or a lender that can help guide you on what areas and what places you can go. Then also, I do have a couple of web addresses that I can share with you to get some information as well. But housing opportunities may equal, which is home. They're right now offering or giving up to $10,000 towards your down payment and or closing costs. So that helps you with less than how much you do have to bring out of pocket. Now, I know a lot of people say that they can purchase without any money, but I always recommend, because there are still expenses that you will have when you're purchasing a home. So you're going to have to still prepare for what we call their earnest money deposit, which is your good faith deposit that you're going to be putting down, that you're going through with the transaction. You still have to have a home inspection. Now, because this market has been crazy this year, a
Uh-huh.
lot of people have been waiving those because they're trying to make their contracts look good and outbeat the next person. But I highly recommend it, because you do not want to go into a home not knowing any of the defects or deficiencies that that home may have. Because if that hot water tank is about to go, that roof has a leak in it, you don't know if you've waived that home inspection. So that is a vital, vital part. And
And
then also,
I'm
mhm.
I'm just going to interject.
Oh, go
I
ahead.
wholeheartedly agree with that. And I'm in a condo that I bought years ago, and I still remember like the home inspector, and he was
Yes.
he was so knowledgeable. And as he
Yeah.
was going through, showing me different things, he was giving me tips. He was telling. So I definitely agree that that's something that you don't want to cut the corners on, cut the curves on.
Exactly. And a lot of people do because they feel like, oh, it's not needed. But then if something happens, you're going to be kicking yourself later on. And it's not like an apartment where you could just say, hey, I want to move over here. This is your long term investment. So you want to invest and take care of it accordingly and making
Yeah.
sure you're taking the right steps up front.
Oh,
And then
right.
the biggest thing that you're going to also need money for would be what is called the appraisal. And that's so that the bank can go out and conduct to make sure that that home has the proper value in it. So I advise my clients at least a minimum of 1,500, 2,000, just to kind of give you some room for incidentals, but
Yeah.
minimum of 1,500 is going to be your out-of-pocket expenses to at least make sure you have everything that you need. And that's not including anything else like down payment or closing costs if you don't qualify for any of the grant programs.
Oh, right. Wonderful. And again, one more time, while our viewers
Yeah.
are watching and listening, how can they connect with you online?
Everybody, you can find me at CRG Richmond, and you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn under that as well.
Oh, right. Great. And so people think about, okay, I'm renting now,
Mhm.
and I'm going to say one of the benefits, and I don't know if Wendy Lee is watching this or going to watch this later. She's a local comedian. She always talks
Mhm.
about neighbor, and actually Wendy has a condo, but anyway, she talks about nosy, noisy neighbors.
Yes.
Um, and so home ownership could she
Can put a
does own a
stop.
condo, but she's got
Right.
another situation. But yeah.
That is one of the benefits of it. And then a lot of people are liking land. They're liking that privacy, and they kind of, you want to be far enough away from your neighbors, but close enough if there's an emergency. So buying something in a rural area with land, there's another program called the USDA program. They offer 100% financing. And that requirement is it has to be in a rural locality. But again, it's far enough away, but close enough in where you can still commute and get to where you need, but still take advantage of the 100% financing options where you don't need that
Hmm.
3.5% down.
So what would rural be considered in this area?
Somewhere like Dinwiddie,
Okay.
maybe Cumberland, Goochland, those are considered your more rural areas. Not a lot of people are out there. So, but again, you can go to USDA and you'll be able to Google. They have a map and they'll be able to tell you exactly which areas are considered rural. And if that is a loan that you're interested in, you can start focusing on some homes in that particular area.
Oh, I love it. Thank you all for the hearts. And for those that are just tuning in here, Tamara Taylor is with us here, Community Real Estate Group. If you have any questions, listen, we are taking in
Yes, we
questions
are.
here. Wow, I had no idea about the various programs. So this is why absolutely you need an expert to walk you through this and to go through this. And I want to say Goochland, I mean, Short Pump is only 15 minutes from Goochland.
Yes,
So that's not,
exactly.
that far fetched. Other things,
Exactly.
other benefits or other things as we, think about, I want to stop renting,
Mhm,
got credit straight. I've got, enough aside for the down payment and for all the other things.
mhm.
What other things should I be thinking about?
Some other things you want to think about is an advantage because a lot of people are now shifting from a renter to a home ownership is a home warranty. Because I have a lot of people that are really concerned about, well, if this breaks down, if that breaks down, what am I going to do? How am I going to get this fixed? One of the great things to a home warranty is you just pay a deductible. You call the 800 number. You say, hey, my dishwasher went out. My grandson put a Lego in the commode, won't flush, whatever it is. And they'll send someone out and you just pay your deductible and it ranges from company, but typically $100 or less. And they'll come out and fix or replace the issue. That takes a lot of stress and strain off of you and a lot of financial worry about if there's a big issue, how am I going to manage it and pay for it?
Wonderful, wonderful. I have a great question coming in from our audience. Gwen, hello. So what do you think about rent to own options for those that are, renting?
Now, rent to own options are really great. Now, with the rent to own option, a lot of them will require a little bit of a larger deposit up front, but they are great because you have normally between 12 to 24 months, depending on your option period, to be able to stay in that home. That also gives you time to work on getting your credit, saving money, and then sometimes, depending on what is worked out between you and that investor or landlord, some of your rental payments can go towards your down payment so when it's time to close, they are issuing that back to you as a credit. So it is a
Mm.
great option for those that may cannot buy right now, but still want to take advantage of how can I get into a home and working towards that goal.
All right, wonderful. Great. Another great question coming in from Miracle over on YouTube. What is some good advice for young people who are aiming to purchase a home in the near future?
You know what? Millennials and young people, they are awesome because they're really getting into this home ownership. A lot of them have saved, they've lived with their family members, so they've kind of put money aside. They're graduating college, they got their independence, and now they're looking to say, let's go out and venture into this new realm of adulthood. And
Yeah.
so a lot of them are purchasing condos and townhouses
Mhm.
because they have that HOA, so they don't have to worry about the yard maintenance and some of the upkeep that is required for a single family home. Because when purchasing a condo or townhouse, the HOA covers a lot of that. A
Yeah.
lot of people now are also working from home. That's the big trend
Yes.
because you have so many people that are now working remotely. So people are now having multi-dimensional spaces. So they're taking a bedroom and now converting it into an office,
Yeah.
or taking that living room space and kind of putting it into an office, or multi-dimensional, so multi-purpose rather.
Yeah.
So that's some great things. So millennials are definitely looking for low maintenance, something that is probably about 2 to 3 bedrooms. They love, love, love convenience. So they want something that's close to the stores, close to shopping, close to restaurants, something that is easily commutable, and that's
All
it.
right, great question there. Thank you for the
Yeah,
questions that came in. Again, I'd love to get for you to give out your information again for those that are saying,
yeah.
I want to connect with her. I feel like she can help me get my next home.
Yes, it is at CRG Richmond. Again, at CRG Richmond, and I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. And even for those that may not be in the Virginia market, please do not hesitate to reach out, because I can refer you to someone that is in your market that can share that same knowledge and wisdom. Even if you just have general questions that you want to ask off the air, I am available and can do so and can assist you and then connect you with that realtor that's in your local state.
Wonderful. And if you're listening to the podcast version, just look down below in the show notes and there's the connection points. Also, those of you that are on Sharvette.com. Here's a great question. So we talked about the millennials and the young people. Thank you, Lorraine, saying, okay, but what about seniors who want to own? Listen, it's never, there's no time limit. There's no age limit on home ownership, right?
That is correct. And it's so funny because I got this question earlier with someone else I was speaking to. And I
Yeah.
was sharing with them my oldest client was in her 70s. It is
Wow.
never too late at all. And she had a cute condo because she didn't want anything where she had to worry about grass and worry about the exterior, and something that she could feel safe in because it had the locked entryway before she was able to get to her unit. So
Yeah.
there is no age limit at all. Also, definitely consider, maybe I have some seniors that are looking to even live together, because a
Okay.
lot of them, yeah, because a lot of people don't think about that, because they're now saying, okay, well, maybe let's pool our resources. They don't want to necessarily go with their kids and feel like a burden, but they do have some friends or other people within their age bracket. They feel like, let's kind of get together and do some things. So that's an option too. But again, it is never too late. Age is but a number. So you can still purchase, and there's some great opportunities out there for seniors as well.
All right. So we've talked about the credit commitments. We've talked about a little bit of what kind of money you need and some
Mhm,
support
mhm.
there. And
Yes.
I'd love to take a few moments as we wrap up and really talk
Mhm.
about mindset shift, because
Yes.
we've talked about the tactical things and maybe some of
Mhm,
that, listeners and viewers, you could Google. But what's the mindset shift
mhm.
of saying, I've been renting, but now I want to own?
So the first thing is, a lot of people, when you're thinking about the mindset, they've gotten used to, this is what my rent amount is, and I can call maintenance. And they've gotten into a comfortable place. So kind of shifting into a more independent homeowner position of, this is mine. So I have to take full responsibility and accountability for everything that goes on. So I am now responsible to make sure there's mortgages paid. I am now responsible for what I want to design and do interior wise and
Yeah.
exterior wise. So finances is one of the biggest things or hindrances where people feel like, okay, I really got to shift things, because it's a lot of wants. We want the shiny stainless steel, the quartz or the granite countertops. We want all of these beautiful things, those luxury items, but it's making sure that you understand, what, even if my home does not have this, I can work towards that because I can see the vision.
Yeah.
It's going in, because what is for you, you're going to walk in and you're going to have a vision of something that somebody else may not see. And
Yeah.
it's okay to start at a smaller home. A lot of people want to go straight to the 4 or 5 bedrooms and be
Right.
at 4 and 500,000. No, it's okay to start at a rancher and work my way up. Most people only remain in their first home 5 to 7 years. And
Yeah.
then now you have some equity built, and you can say, let's go ahead to this 3, 4, $500,000 home. You have something that you're working towards.
Yeah.
So not have the mindset of, I have to go big or go home coming out the gate. Take your baby steps and understand where God is leading you, and taking those steps of, this is my opportunity now that I can go forward and have that independence, and taking on the pride and the responsibility now, and
Yeah.
having that different mindset of, somebody isn't going to be available to do it for me, then now I have to push and make sure that I'm staying accountable and doing it for myself.
But then on the flip side of that same coin, I
Mhm.
own it. And as
Yes,
long as I pay my mortgage, nobody can put me out.
nobody can
It's
put you
not
out.
going out. So
Yes,
you own it and nobody
yes,
can put you out. I'm so glad
yes.
I mentioned her earlier, comedian Wendy Lee. Petersburg area. She purchased when purchasing a condo, make sure your neighbors aren't baby and kids, her current situation. So I knew she owns her condo, but we got a neighbor situation going on there.
And I understand that. And that is one of the deterrents of the condo. You just have to be careful. I don't want to say deterrents, you just got to be careful when you go in, because if you walk in and you can hear all that stomping and all of that, because that's the thing, you can't just up and move. It's a little bit of a different process because now you have to sell something, because like you said, you own it. Nobody can just come and put you out. And one of the great things, even with home ownership, I know we're wrapping up, is a lot of people went into this moratorium and they were having issues, and they had to stop on evictions. But however, owning your home, it can assist you, because now you can work out an arrangement with the bank. The bank does not want your home. They do not want to become landlords.
No.
So they're willing to accommodate and figure out what they could do to help you, versus you having to rely on the court system to try to stop something. You have a little more leeway because, again, this is yours.
Yes. And the last thing, listen, I'll keep talking all night, but I want to honor your time. The last thing, and a benefit as we talk about how to stop renting and take advantage of home ownership, tax benefits. We haven't mentioned that yet.
Yes, that is one of the largest benefits, is the taxes, because you're able to write off that interest. And of course, you definitely want to talk to your tax professional.
Yes.
But that interest you're able to write off. Even when you go to closing, you're able to write off some of your points and some of the things that you paid at the closing. So I always recommend, please keep all of your closing documents, take them with you for your tax professional. But that is one of the biggest things, because you'll be able to get a tax break because you are a homeowner, and certain repairs that you make. So again, those are discussions that you want to have with your tax professional.
All right. We didn't want to leave them without that. I am telling you.
Thank you.
Thank you, listeners, for all the hearts and all the loves. If you enjoyed anything that was said today, throw up some hearts. Again, share this out. I know and trust that there are people on your timelines. And if you listen to the podcast version, screenshot it, share it wherever. If you're listening to the replay and Instagram, share it out. I know people will be blessed by it. And sometimes it's just a matter of exposure to the information. Exactly. And I mentioned this little scenario at my pop-up conference. And this doesn't have to do with home ownership, but it's paralleling, really why I have these types of shows. So I'm a big sister, big presence and all of that. And so when I flew, I used to buy 2 coach seats, because I was just wanted to be comfortable. I didn't want my hip on your hip and all of that. So I would buy 2 coach seats, and I never thought about first class because I thought it was unattainable. I never checked the prices. I never even considered first class. So one day a friend said, "You're buying 2 coach seats? Why? You could just buy 1 first class seat and you're probably saving." Literally, that is the case. Almost 100% of the time, unless I'm traveling internationally, a first class ticket is less or equal to, but most cases less than 2 coach seats. So what am I saying? In this conversation we're having about how to stop renting and take advantage of home ownership, sometimes it's just a matter of having the exposure, like you said, of a client who's paying $1,100 for a mortgage versus paying $1,200 to $1,500 for rent. Sometimes it's just enlightenment around that is possible. Yeah,
exactly. I love that. And all things are possible. All things are made possible. So do not think that you're out of the spectrum. You're too old. You don't qualify. My credit is messed up. I've seen it all, done it all, heard it all. So there is help, and there's a home for you.
All right, there you go. And my last question for you, the goal of the show is to motivate, excite, and influence. And we want to know what continues to motivate you.
Helping people, that is my thing. I love to be able to, that's one of the reasons I got into the business once my best friend kind of brought me in, is having that joy. Because a lot of people kind of start off with that, can I take it? Can I really do it? Is this going to really happen? But when I give those keys out at closing and I see those huge smiles, and I've had clients crying, and it just warms my heart and it brings me so much joy. Like, this is what I was designed for. This is what I'm here for. This is what I want to see, because I want people to achieve that, because it's one of the biggest purchases you're going to make in your life.
Yeah.
But there's so many advantages to owning a home versus renting. And I want to be able to expose people and give them the opportunity to take advantage of it.
Well said. Well said. Well, Tamara Taylor, thank you so much for
Thank you,
stopping by the
Sharvette.
Sharvette Mitchell radio show. We were just glad to have an opportunity. I see people coming on in. Tracy saying, I got to catch the replay. Catch the replay, Tracy. Catch the replay.
Yes.
It'll be up on all of our platforms. Sharvette.com is probably the easiest place to be. Thank you, Gwen, again for your comment. And thank you so much for stopping by. We're just going to keep our eye on you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. And I'm always watching you. So I love it. I love it. Support.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
All
you.
right. Wow. That is a wrap for today's show. Yes. If you missed any portion of it, definitely just hit the replay. Thanks to my sister Kim hanging out on YouTube. She was like, good tips, good tips. Thank you so much, Sharice. I believe I'm saying that right. Thank you so much for it was invaluable information, right? Again, Sharvette.com has the full bio for today's guest. Also, very quick way to go to her connection points, websites, and all of that. So if you're like, oh, I do want to connect with her, Sharvette.com. The first blog post for our guest right there is hanging out with you. And we're excited that you stopped by. We are getting up out of your way. Again, this segment was brought to you by my Facebook group. Hashtag coaching with vet. If you are a female entrepreneur and you want to rub shoulders with other entrepreneurs and you're looking to build your platform and your visibility, come hang out with us. If you're hanging out on Facebook, it's just look for hashtag coaching with vet. But if you're outside of Facebook, easy way is just to go to www.heygirlhey.today, not .com, not .org, .today, right there on the screen. And we'll be welcome you with open arms. Thank you so much for those hanging out in my Facebook group saying great show. All right, it is a wrap. I'm going to see you all later on the web. Thanks for being here with me as always.
Live from Richmond, Virginia, you've been listening to the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show. Get Sharvette Mitchell every Tuesday at 6 p.m., interviewing all the stars you want to hear from. So until next week, stay motivated, excited, and influenced. This is the Sharvette Mitchell Radio Show.